Hi friends, today's second business standard editorial is titled Protecting Biodiversity. It is talking about an international biodiversity policy as a part of Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework 2022. India submitted its 7th national report to the Convention on Biological Diversity. So we have to understand a few terms, policies, rules, etc. to understand this editorial. First one is Convention on Biological Diversity. It is a multilateral treaty adopted in 1992 where 196 countries committed to the three objectives of conserving biodiversity, promoting sustainable use of biological resources, fair and equitable sharing of benefits. Conserving biodiversity means protecting ecosystems, species, and genetic diversity to maintain the variety of life on Earth. Promoting sustainable use of biological resources means we do not compromise the future generations' needs. Biological resources means plants, animals, microorganisms, and their derivatives like genes, cells, tissues, or extracts that provide benefits such as food, medicine, fuel, fiber, or ecological services. Fair and equitable sharing of benefits derived from the biological resources. For example, profits from drugs derived from wild plant genes must be equitably shared with original countries or indigenous groups. What is Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework? See, in Convention on Biological Diversity has three objectives, and to attain these three objectives, it every time it fixes a framework, but in this framework's time span, it will not be able to attain its objective. So it keeps on producing another framework after the previous one expired, and this process keeps on going on, one framework after another. And previously it was known as Aichi targets, and currently the name of the framework is Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. It was adopted in 2022. It has 4 goals for 2050 and 23 operational targets for 2030. Its 4 goals includes maintain and restore the ecosystem using biodiversity sustainably, fairly share the benefits from genetic resources, secure financial resources for implementation of the objectives. Its 23 operational targets are organized into three pillars, namely reducing threats to biodiversity, meeting people's needs through sustainable use, tools and solutions for implementation. Goals are like the ultimate destination, like we proclaim we have halted the extinction of threatened species, we have ensured that benefits are equitably shared, etc. Operational targets are concrete, measurable steps that would ultimately lead to the end goal, like restoring 30% degraded ecosystem by 2030, etc. Under the framework, every party has to submit national reports. The parties to the Convention on Biological Diversity has to mandatorily submit national reports detailing the measures implemented, their effectiveness, obstacles, and challenges to meet the three objectives. The Conference of Parties decides the frequency and the deadline for national reports. Currently, the parties are requested to submit the 7th report by 28th February 2026, which India did submit, and we have to submit the 8th report by 30th June 2029. Conference of Parties to the Convention on Biological Diversity is the ultimate treaties. This is the treaty's supreme governing and decision-making body. The national report consists of information regarding the national target, their link to the global target, progress assessment, biodiversity status, etc. We have also something known as national biodiversity targets. They are specific measurable goals set by each party of Convention on Biological Diversity at the national level to implement the 23 operational targets by 2030. Parties develop national biodiversity targets within their national biodiversity strategies and action plans to translate international objectives into country-specific actions for conservation, sustainable use, and benefit sharing. India's updated National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan includes a biodiversity monitoring system with 142 indicators mapped to 23 national biodiversity targets, namely NBT1, NBT2, etc. In the national report submitted by India, it has highlighted its achievements such as ISRO's National Natural Resource Management System uses remote sensing for large-scale mapping of forest, wetlands and coast, enabling data-driven area-based conservation. Geographic Information System, also known as GIS-based single window portal for forest, wildlife, environmental clearances, improving efficiency and compliance tracking. ISRO's Space Application Center maps desertification, land degradation over time. Pilot vulnerability assessment in 30 districts combine socio-economic, climate and soil data to prioritize high-risk restoration areas. Despite the restoration efforts, India's biodiversity faces ongoing challenges. India restored nearly 24.1 million hectares towards a 26 million target, but 30% of the land remains degraded, showing recovery lags behind the new damage from land use. Only around 5% of the land is under formal protected areas. Most biodiversity loss happens outside the protected areas where enforcement is weak. Recovery of tigers, rhinos, etc. is noted, but limited data on lesser known species like insects, plants makes it difficult to assess the overall biodiversity health. Agroforestry at 8.65% area helps tree cover, but pesticides, nutrient runoff harm ecosystem. Climate-related events are affecting ecosystem. In summary, monitoring systems should be matched with regulatory enforcement, while conservation activities should move beyond protected areas if biodiversity is to be preserved in the country where biodiversity intersects with climate risk, food security, and livelihoods. Thank you.